Hi, I'm Sandy Sandler in the background, and we have today from Nick Seasonal Decor, and we love it when Nick joins us. And on the camera, we have Alex, and then on Bowdabra on Facebook, we have Joette. So we've got everybody on the team on here tonight. So I'm so excited. Nick, I can't wait to see what you're going to make.
Yes, we have some fun things planned. So, welcome everyone. If you are catching the replay, let us know down below. But we're going to be using our large Bowdabra and our mini Bowdabra. And I'm really excited to announce that the last 2 Mondays of each month through the year, we will be live here on Bowdabra. If any of that changes, you guys will know ahead of time, depending on holidays and all of that fun stuff. But you can count on that. So, very excited about that. So, to the left of me, we have our large Bowdabra, and to the right we have our mini Bowdabra, both of which, as well as the wire, we carry this both in silver and gold, can be found at nickseasonaldecor.com. And tonight we have a lot of fun things to make. So a lot of pretty patriotic bows, and we're also going to be making a wisteria wreath. So let me just quickly share this video, and we can rock and roll.
Hi everyone, so happy to see you guys again.
Okay. Yeah, so as you come into, we are giving away a free roll of scrunchy ribbon, thanks to Bowdabra. So all you have to do is just let us know down below where you're watching from. But truth be told, anything you comment can enter you into win. So we're going to start with this really pretty. I think it's patriotic, but I do think it can be nautical as well. Alex thinks this is more nautical than patriotic. So it's kind of a running joke between us over the last few weeks that we've had it. So you guys can let me know down below whether you think it looks more nautical or patriotic, or if you're like me and think it can work for both. So we're going to start with the length of our wire. We're going to cut it about 26 inches or so, give or take. Hey, Lisa, nice to see you. Teresa's from Iowa. North Carolina is where Renee is. Taylorsville, Kentucky is Tina. Tina's in the house. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. One of the best ways you can support us is to kind of be interact with us. So I've made this joke all year long. Don't be a ghost watcher. Comment, and that way we can kind of get to know each other. So now I've worked in our wire, and I've noticed that I've tucked it underneath. So you can just leave it like this, but I find it much easier as I'm rotating my Bowdabra. I like to move my Bowdabra as I'm making my bow, and I find it easiest to take those wires and tuck them right underneath. So Tina thinks both, Lisa thinks both. Hey, Patty. If I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to tuck it underneath, I'm going to tuck both ends underneath, just like that. So let's do, I think this would look pretty as a funky bow, so let's start with that. So we created a couple funky bows last week using some narrow ribbon, and now we're using a 2.5-inch ribbon. So one thing about bow making, and I think a lot of people struggle with it because they see so many different prints and so many different styles and color schemes and widths and all of that fun stuff, fancy edges, fancy everything, right? And they think that the techniques are really kind of varied with that. And truth be told, it's all the same, or at least, a lot of the techniques are the same. So even though the ribbon might look different and the bow itself might look different, it's not as complicated as it seems. So what I've created here is an awareness ribbon. We just cut a length of ribbon. We're going to fold it over itself, pinch about 5 inches down, and now we have about 6 to 8-inch tails. With this bow technique, I think it's foolproof, and I think it's very beginner friendly. And if you have a bunch of ribbon like we all do, and if you don't, you will, you could use those leftover rolls. So if you only have a yard or two, throw a bunch of different ribbons together. Of course, if they match and look good together, and you can create something using just your waste or your scrap pieces. So I see Grace is here from North Carolina. Tina says that ribbon is beautiful. I think so too. And a lot of you guys think it can work for both as well. So the question was, do you think it's more nautical or more patriotic? Okay, so there is our second piece. Typically with 2.5-inch ribbon, I recommend 3 pieces on either side to create a rather full bow. But the thing is, you guys, is it really just depends on the look you're going for. In some of my designs, I prefer them to be a little bit lighter and a little bit more airy, which involves less loops. So sometimes I might only work in like 3 loops or 4 loops, sometimes 5, sometimes 7, sometimes 9. It really just depends. Another important thing I wanted to mention is I'm alternating sides. So we came back in with our last loop on the right side or your left side. I'm going to place the other one on the opposite side. The only reason
Nick,
for
can I
this is
interrupt for one sec?
yep.
Can you show everybody how you're twisting that back ribbon so they can see what you're doing?
Yes. So to finish my point, the reason I'm alternating the sides is simply just, when it comes time to fluff, it makes it easier because everything is placed exactly where you want it. So all we're doing is we're taking a length, we're cutting it. Depends on the size bow you want to create. The longer you cut it, the longer and bigger the bow is going to be. All I'm doing is I'm just taking it and just pinching it. So when you guys see me open up the tails, all I'm doing is just that. So just pulling the tail from underneath to the side, and then we have all of the face print of this ribbon facing forward for all to see.
Thank you.
And I see Robin says, Big Pool, Maryland. Looks like we're hitting a lot of states. So Sylvia, so far I have 2 layers on each side. Let's come back in with 1 more piece on each side, and that should give us a nice full bow. So this bow, I think scale-wise, is proportionate for a 18-inch grapevine wreath, a larger wreath, a teardrop swag. You can also place these on lampposts, and hopefully one day I'll have some lampposts that I can place these on. So there is 3 on that side, and we have 1 more piece to add. So yes, if you're watching this right now, you could win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. All you have to do is just say hi, comment down below. So our final layer. And then what do I got to do after this, Alex?
You are going to dovetail.
Yes. So here again, the loop, just separating those 2 tails and then placing it inside. So now we got to secure it. But the nice thing about the Bowdabra is that it holds everything in place. It does come with a wand, but I don't really use this, you guys, because I just take my hands and do that. I never really add too many loops into my bows, but if you have a lot and you really want to scrunch it, the Bowdabra wand does come with your Bowdabra kit. Now we're going to take the wires that we tucked in underneath. So we have a loop on one end, and then we have 2 cut tails on the other side. We're going to take those cut tails and pull them through the loop. And I see we just hit 100 live viewers. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you don't mind hitting that like and share button, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps us grow and inspire others. But we're going to take those wires and tie them from behind. That way we don't have the knot in the front. This is Robin's first time catching a live. She's from Indiana. Welcome, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Cut off our wire. So this wire that I just snipped off is what you would secure it to whatever you secure your bows to. Garlands, you name it. I remove mine because we actually send pictures to Bowdabra to show you guys how the bows look once they're fully displayed, and we don't need to see the wires hanging underneath the bow. We just want to see the beautiful bow. Now we're going to dovetail. So to dovetail, you're going to take your tail, fold it in half, and cut from the middle out towards the wired edge at an angle. And look at how much better that looks. This is the back side too, so the front side looks even better.
I was even just going to say, I love the backside of that too.
Right?
It's got a nice denim color.
Yeah. Which works for year round too, right? Think of fall with denim. I mean, this ribbon, I wouldn't really use this for fall. Definitely nautical or, well, I mean, you could.
If you had some scrap pieces, that'd be a nice addition.
You definitely could work that in.
You could also use it for a nautical Christmas wreath.
That exactly. Yes. You could use it for Christmas too. And Christmas, you guys, over the years, Christmas is becoming whatever color you decide, right? So black and red has been huge for Christmas. Buffalo plaid, you guys know. So you could really make anything work for Christmas. So there's 3 holidays and seasons right there. So our last tail to dovetail, again, fold in half, cut from the middle out towards the wired edge. And I do want to point out, look at the length difference between the tails. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to bows, and I was. So I know a lot of you guys think like me, and if your bow's not looking exactly the way you want, you kind of get flustered and you shut down. The best thing that I've learned after all of these years of making bows is to just go with it, and it's going to turn out beautiful in the end. So don't get too caught up in measurements. It'll still turn out beautiful. So now it's time to fluff. Pull apart those loops, those tails. Hey, Cindy from Arkansas. So at this point in time, I want to encourage you guys to join both Bowdabra and our free group. You can join the Bowdabra Fan Gallery and the Nick Seasonal Decor Crafting Community. Both groups are great resources for added inspiration and creativity. So if you're looking for ideas for what? Design, styles, techniques, color combos, you name it, both of those groups have it all. Okay, and that is looking pretty darn good. What do you guys think of that bow? Show some hearts. Hey, Mindy. Linda's here. Louise is from Chicago. And the more you fluff it, the better it'll look, right? So you can spend a lot of time fluffing your bows to get them exactly how you want. But another thing you can do too, see what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of adding a little crinkle to the tail. I think that looks very pretty when you do that too. So just taking the tail and just kind of wrinkling it a bit. And there we have it. What do you think? Mary says, Pendleton, New York, and I just loved your decorations. Thank you, Mary. Hey, Shirley from rainy Michigan. It sprinkled today. It wasn't super rainy, but it did rain a
Yeah,
little
for
bit.
like an hour or so.
For an hour or so. So there is the bow. Thank you guys for the hearts. Now, let's switch gears and use our mini Bowdabra. So my first time using this was about 2 months ago, about 2 months or so ago, when we first got them in at nickseasonaldecor.com, and I thought they were the cutest little thing in the world, and I've never used it up until that first live, and it's just the same. There's no difference between this and the large. You're just able to create kind of finer detailed bows using this. Hair bows, smaller bows, and we've created some bows that are perfect for wreaths as well, full-size wreaths. So I'm going to actually try something different. I think this will be fun. We're going to create kind of like a sparkler effect. So I'm going to cut some tails about, what, 8, 10, 12 inches. Doesn't have to be exact. I'm not measuring anything. And check out how cool this turns out. I think this would actually be cool, Alex, if we added like a wire to it and turned it into little picks.
Oh, I think so too.
Right? To add to our designs. Robin never gets tired of watching me. She loves her Bowdabra. Thank you, Robin. And let's do one more for good measure. So that is the blue. Now let's switch gears and use the red. Sue says, I have a tan right now. It's probably from just yard work, I'd say, this week. It's been a beautiful week, and today was really sunny. The UV was really high. Not like Sandy and Nevada, I bet, but for us, at this time of year, it was very, very sunny out. All right, so a couple pieces of that. And now, what do you think I should do, Alex? Should I layer them, do the blue underneath and the red on the top, or should I just make it sporadic?
I think sporadic would be kind of cool.
All right, sporadic. So we're going to take our tails now, and we're going to just place one piece in of each. So typically I work from the smallest to the biggest, but I think it'll be fun and add a little bit of depth if we're not too specific with adding, the biggest first and then the smallest. So let's see how this turns out. It might be pretty, and it might not, but I think the colors right here are going to look great. So we didn't work in...
This is a great bow, Nick, to make with your scraps of ribbon too.
Exactly, yes, absolutely. I mean, we only used a yard or so of each. But even though we didn't work in any white in this, I think we're still getting that patriotic vibe. Hey, Danae. Danae is one of our awesome Wreath community members. And she said, hey, Alex. She just knows Alex is behind the camera with this angle.
Hey, Danae.
Okay, so we worked in quite a bit. I mean, that's a lot of ribbon. We have 2 pieces left. So look at how many layers of ribbon using the mini. Oh, well, I guess we'll stop at the blue. Look at how many layers. We have like 15 on each side. So you can work in quite a bit of ribbon into your mini Bowdabra. So these are, I think, $11.99. Not a bad price at all. Gonna take our wire.
Mary says thank you for making the bows, because she has a Bowdabra, but she still gets confused. And Mary, every Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, we have a free Facebook Live or YouTube Live 30-minute how-to for Bowdabra. So definitely tune in.
Yes. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the last 2 Mondays of each month, we will be live. So we have a lot of tails that we got to quickly dovetail. So let's see. Somebody count in seconds how long this takes me. I think we can do it quickly.
Don't miss any.
Don't miss any, right? So it really does pay off. It does take a little bit of time, you guys. But if you've seen enough of my bows over the years, you'll notice that I do this to most of my bows. And it just looks so great. You're able to see that finer detail, and it just shows that you go the extra mile. So going the extra mile when designing really pays off with the beautiful outcome. Thank you guys for sharing. I see we're at almost 140 live viewers. Let's see if we can hit 150. Almost done with one side. We have 2 left, you guys. 2 left. I think if we went a little smaller, it would work as a hair bow. Right, Alex?
Yeah.
It might be a little bit big. With my head shape, this is the perfect size. But for most people, a little bit smaller, I'd say.
For the littler the girl, the bigger the hair bow.
Okay, working on the other side. Bear with me. Bear with me. You're going to see the outcome, and it's going to be worth it. Almost there, a couple more. But like Sandy pointed out, you can use just a yard or two, some scrap ribbon, whatever you have lying around, as long as it kind of looks good together. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. But instead of tossing it and throwing it out, because after you get down to just a little bit, what are you going to do with it? And this bow technique is one of my favorites. Okay, last 2 or 3. Getting there, getting there. Okay, and there we go. Now our table just looks like confetti. So let's clean that up. And then we can fluff it together. So to fluff it, all we're doing, since it's wired ribbon, is just pulling it apart. Oh, I forgot the very first one. There we go. Pull it apart and watch it transform. Lynn says, thank you for doing this. Thank you for watching, Lynn. One of the best things you guys can do is let me know that you enjoy this and that I've helped you with bow making. So if that is something that pertains to you, if I've helped you over the years with mastering or practicing or trying bow making, let me know. There's no greater honor. And when you guys, let me know that kind of stuff, it really kind of pushes us to continue teaching and teaching and teaching. Pull them apart. Look at how it's shaping up already, though. Isn't that pretty?
So pretty. Like a firework.
Like a firework. And if you did this on a smaller scale, like I mentioned earlier, I think it would be really cute to add a wire to the back of it and turn it into a pick. Sticking a bunch of these into a wreath, because it does look like a firework. Look at that. Hey, Chris, watching from Buffalo, New York. And like always, you guys can fluff this for years. Oh, we missed one more. So I only missed one tail, you guys. The other one I caught, so it doesn't count. All right, so there is that bow technique. And I think that looks really pretty. This one's a little bit long, so we'll just trim that as well. So show some hearts. What do you guys think of that? I love that. So now we're going to do let's do a summer bow now. We're going to switch gears and use our large Bowdabra. Cut another length of wire. We are running low on this wire, but this lasted us, gosh, a
Very
year,
long time.
maybe more than a year. And there's been a lot of bows that we have made with it. I want to say well over 100. So when you price it out like that, it costs, what, like 10 cents per bow? If that, not bad.
Sandy says she watched you for 6 months before she chose this therapeutic hobby.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Sandra. What an honor. And it becomes addictive. So for those of you guys that just don't know how to stop designing, I do apologize because there's so many designs to be created. So now we're going to create a strawberry wreath, or strawberry bow, I should say. Look at how pretty that is with the strawberries and the gingham. It's perfect for picnics, I'd say. So for this bow, we're going to do a traditional style bow. We've already created several bows using it. So I know a lot of you guys aren't starting with a fresh, brand new roll of ribbon. And if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. You can use partial rolls. It doesn't have to require a whole 10-yard spool or 50-yard spool to create something pretty. Now we're going to just create a traditional bow. So I worked in a length of tails. Now what I'll do is I'll take our ribbon upside down, work it into the Bowdabra. Notice this side. We have about a 1/2 inch overhang, and that is the perfect amount to prevent it from slipping out.
Everybody's commenting, Nick, on how much you've taught them.
Oh, thank you guys. I can't wait to read all of those comments. You guys are the best. I appreciate it.
Shirley says that was a great patriotic bow.
Thank you, Shirley. I appreciate that. Very easy, right? Just 2 solid ribbons. And as I mentioned before, we didn't work in any white ribbon. We just used red and blue, and I think it still created a very patriotic effect. You could work in some white flowers and get the same effect as well, if you wanted red, white, and blue. But you don't have to work in white to create a patriotic design. You have taught me how to make all types of bows. Now my friends are always getting me to make their bows. Yes, so that's another thing, you guys. Once you learn how to make a bow, and hopefully tonight's video will get you there, practice helps too. So you definitely got to practice. People pay good money for bows. So even if you're not in business, your friends and family are still going to envy you because you're the one that creates the beautiful bows. And you can charge them nothing for the first time or two, and then start charging them. Okay, so whatever left on this roll of ribbon, we are going to use up. And that way we're zero waste. Well, I'm going to waste this piece. We have enough loops. So wasted this. You could work that into the mini Bowdabra too, if you wanted. Okay, now we're going to take those wires from either end, place them through the knot on the top. So again, we have a folded piece of wire. We're going to just pull the cut end through that loop and pull it tight. So now it's not secured enough to walk away from, or it's secured enough to walk away from, but not secured enough to tie onto a project. So to do that, we're going to take our wires, pull it tight, pull those wires to the back of the bow, and tie it from behind. So Grace bought her Bowdabra because of me. She loves it. Thank you, Grace, for letting me know. We're going to just tie this a couple of times. There we go. 3 knots.
I love this ribbon. It's so summery.
Right? I think so too. We're going to pull these loops apart. Hey, Cindy and Melissa. We're going to fluff this out. Let's see if we can hit 150 live viewers, you guys. Make sure to hit that like and share button.
And don't forget, guys, you can get the Bowdabras, the wire, and all of these ribbons at nixseasonaldecor.com.
Fluff this out. Look at how pretty that turned out. Come on, you guys. You can stick some strawberries in it. So truth be told, you guys, strawberries aren't my favorite fruit, but they're Dad's favorite. Do you like strawberries, Alex?
I like them. They're not my favorite either. I think watermelon's my favorite.
Yes, but not right now. It hasn't been great lately.
No.
So there is that bow. If the back and the front of the ribbon, do you still have to twist the ribbon? So Jackie, I encourage you to still continue to twist it. The reason we do that is for like the integrity of the ribbon. It really provides a nice hold, reversing each time you work in a loop. So that's what I've been doing for, since day one. You can do it without reversing it, but I still just kind of get into the rhythm of doing that with each and every bow.
I think it fluffs better also.
It does. It just holds in place better. And I've always done that. It always worked for me. So now we're going to create one more bow for our wreath.
Ooh.
We're going to snip off our wire. What wire are we using, says Renee? We are using the Bowdabra wire in the color silver. And that's all that's left, so don't get too close. All right, so for our wreath, the bow I want to make is going to be using some purple ribbon. So we have some of this pretty 1.5-inch purple. So Lois is like, I'm with your dad. Strawberries are the best. So we're going to cut some tails. And I think I want to do, what kind of bow should I make for this, Alex?
What haven't we done yet tonight?
Let's do this. Let's do the couple loops on either side and then a little button loop. Everybody loves the button loop.
Yes.
So we're going to do 3 loops on either side, and these are going to be about 5.5 inches. Reverse, next loop. Next loop. And just continue until you have 3 loops on either side that are about, you want them to be somewhat equal. They don't have to be perfect, but since there's so few loops on this bow technique, we do want it to be a little bit more uniform than we typically do. So there's 3 on one side. Now we'll do 3 on the other side. So there's 3. We're going to come back in with 2 loops that are slightly smaller. So one of the most important things that I teach is depth, right? We want to add lots of depth when designing, and by having different loops kind of gradually going from biggest to smallest, we create a really pretty illusion that way. So Debbie says kiwi is the bomb.
Ooh, I love kiwi too.
I love kiwi too. Do we do 2 little ones? We have 1 more little one there. And then it's time for our final loop, and that is known as the button loop. So the button loop does not have to be big by any means. However long that is enough. It only has to cover up the wire directly in the middle. Take your wire out and tie it in the middle. So we have a few minutes left, you guys. So now is my friendly reminder to all of you that are just tuning in to comment down below. Just say hi, and you could be entered to win a free roll of scrunchy ribbon. And the color choices, let's see if Alex remembers.
Red, gold, and silver.
Yes. Be hard to forget now since we say that so much, right?
I know. And who doesn't want a free roll of ribbon, guys? So comment down below.
That is right. So for this bow, we're going to work in some wisteria, and it's going to be very pretty. We're going to have some hanging down below. And I love wisteria, but apparently it's very invasive. I hardly ever see it growing on, trellises or anything around us. But maybe in different parts of the country and the world, it becomes a nuisance and a problem. But I think
But
it's
it's
very, very.
gorgeous as silks.
I'm sorry?
I said it's gorgeous as silks.
Yes, gorgeous as silks. That way you don't have it growing everywhere.
Exactly.
So Jane loves purple, her granddaughter's favorite color. So growing up, purple was my favorite color, and then it switched to red. And now I'm not quite so sure. I still love red, but I feel like I don't use red as much as every bow in tonight's project has been red so far. But I do love this lilac lavender color as well.
Yeah, I love light purple like this.
Well, you've always preferred like pastels anyway.
Yeah.
Pull apart those loops, get everything fluffed nicely. Doesn't have to be perfect because once we hang it on the door, it does make fluffing a lot easier.
I think actually the rug in my room growing up was this color.
Yeah, it was. Okay, there is our bow. What do you guys think of that so far? Show some hearts if you love it. It's not a pretty technique too. I love this technique. All right, wisteria time. Look at how pretty that is. So this is leftover from who knows what, but I've had it for so many years because I had so much of it. I feel like I've had a gazillion bushes of this over the years. So I think we did a garland with this once too.
I love the way it hangs though. It's so
Right?
pretty.
So to work this in,
I'm going to interrupt you for 1 sec. We have our winner, Kay Overcash, and she's watching us on YouTube. So, Kay, all you
welcome
have to
Kay.
do is PM Bowdabra on Facebook or email us and with your information and where to send the ribbon and whether you want gold, silver, or red.
Yes, congratulations, Kay.
Congratulations, Kay.
So we're gonna take some wisteria. I'm gonna have this piece shooting out the middle. I think that'll be pretty. And then I have one longer piece as well. See how it kind of cascades? I love that look. And I'll place it up top, and that way it can kind of hang from the side. So it's gonna look weird because gravity, holds the flowers, right? So once we hang this on the door, it's gonna have a really pretty cascade, and it's not gonna look so awkward on the table. But I'll have a position kind of how it's gonna lay once we hang it on the door. Now I also have some of these purple flowers as well. And I love that this is kind of matchy-matchy, right? So the bow isn't super duper in your face. It's kind of subtle. Once you take a closer look, you're able to see it all. Yes, let's all congratulate Kay. And Kay and everybody else, don't forget that Bowdabra does give away a free roll of scrunchy ribbon each and every Monday. And we will be live the last 2 Mondays of each month. So we are ending our lives for the month of April.
I can't believe April flew by so quick.
It flew by. And we will see you guys, I don't know the dates, but the last 2 Mondays of each month. It makes it easier to say it like that. So here is our final little flower. And you could work in some greenery, but I think that looks very pretty all on its own, just with some hanging wisteria and a couple cherry blossoms.
I need a step stool for your bigger designs. I'm too short. There we go.
That's beautiful, Nick.
Isn't that pretty, you guys? Using just a couple blooms, a little leftover ribbon, we created a hanging wisteria wreath. And that is how it looks. Super easy, and each and every one of you guys can make this. So how are we doing on time? Looks like we're almost out of time. Let's see if we can just squeeze one last little bow tie in. So that was the bow. I see lots of hearts coming through. Thank you guys for them hearts. Take another little length of wire. Now we have red and blue ribbon, some lavender ribbon, wisteria everywhere. We had a lot of fun things we designed tonight, so I hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to take that wire, tuck it underneath, and then we're going to finish it off with another 7/8 inch ribbon. One of my favorites. So let's create a bow tie. I do bow ties a little bit weirdly. Is that the proper way of saying it? I do them a little weird. In that I cut the tails ahead of time. I don't like that kind of knot in the middle that comes with separating them. I like them to sit flush on the back. So here we have a length of tails. We're going to just tuck those into the Bowdabra. And let's kind of fluff this as we work it in. There is our tails. So a bow tie is probably number one to create, right? And with your Bowdabra, it makes it so much easier. We're going to take our ribbon, a little bit of an overhang, create one loop, create two loops, and there we have a bow tie, right? We can just snip that off. We're going to do it a little bit more. We're going to do two loops on either side. Similar lengths, doesn't have to be perfect, but similar since there's only going to be 5 loops. Another one on the other side, and then our final loop, which is
the button loop.
The button loop. Doesn't have to be big, inch or so. Take your wires. And I see we still have 125 of you guys watching. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Nick, thank you so much. You always do such an amazing job. And
Thank you,
Alex,
Sam.
I can't thank you enough for being such a great camera woman.
Yes, let's
Of
all hear it for
course.
Alex, you guys. Alex is a rock star, and she makes sure to get all the good angles.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, everyone. I love our Monday Bowdabra nights.
Yes, we hope you
We
guys
do
have a
too.
great start of May, and we'll see you the last two Mondays, which is
And
crazy.
I'll see you next Monday.
Yes, and Sandy will see you next Monday. And there, you have a really pretty little bow. Look at that. Pull your
So
tails
cute.
underneath, open up your button loop, and you can spend a couple extra minutes fluffing it as well. But I think that is really, really cute. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Make sure to hit that like and share button if I taught you something, and we will see you the last 2 Mondays of May. I'm not sure what the dates are, but you guys, I'll see if I can figure it out. Maybe we'll create like a little schedule. So thank you all so very much. Thank you, Sandy and Joe, for having us as guests. And stay tuned for the pictures, you guys. We'll have those sent to Bowdabra, and you'll be able to see them in all their glory, because I think bows standalone look very pretty as well. So thank you guys again, and I will see you all very soon. Happy May, and yeah, have a great week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Yes, have a good night.